Greetings sailors and welcome back to World of Warships and a look at the Minegumo, which has just gone on sale again. I wasn't able to get this the first time round, or I missed it being out, or I can't even remember how it was on sale. Maybe I didn't miss it, maybe I just chose not to buy it because it was behind some loot box BS. I honestly can't remember, but that is usually a very good reason for me not buying a thing. But outside of however it was available, it's still been a little bit of interest to me as a ship I didn't have, because it is basically a classic stealthy torpedo destroyer. And it's also a historic ship that took part in the Battle of the Java Sea, which is how they've made it available this time. But they've also done a little bit of... I mean, of course, naturally there's the loot boxes. You could just straight up buy the ship or the Jupiter 42, which is fine. Or, yeah, you've got this whacking, great big expensive bundle, which gives you all four of these ships. 3 destroyers and a Tier 6 cruiser. I mean, I guess if you're a history fan, okay, but that still feels like an awful lot of money to put down for a bunch of ships and a pair of commanders. Maybe you might feel it's worth it, I don't know. But I just bought the Minegumo straight up for doubloons. It's also available for money from the cast shop on the website, which I maybe should have bought instead of buying doubloons to buy it, because I opened the client today and it said, hey, here's a discount for buying the Minegumo on the website for money. And instead I've essentially paid full price through buying it through doubloons. But never mind. So what it is an Asashio class. It has got regular torps as opposed to the deep waters. But in all other regards, it's really not that different. It's got the same concealment. It's got the same slow firing guns, although I don't know if the guns are quite as slow firing as the Asashio. No, they're slightly better. 7.1 on Asashio, and on Minegumo, your base reload is 6. But it's still not great for a Tier 9 destroyer, so you're not going to be outgunning many other destroyers in this thing. It really is all about being sneaky and putting down torpedoes. However, like the Asashio, it has absolutely execrable AA defense. It's got AA defense that you would think to find on like a Tier 3 destroyer, except now you're at Tier 9. So basically, planes can keep you spotted with near impunity. It really is only your smoke that you have to fall back on. So in games with carriers, you're going to be relying on that quite heavily if a CV decides to come after you, or else hugging an ally that you know has got decent AA. Fortunately, if you do get forced into that kind of scenario, you've got a very good torpedo range. You've got 15 kilometers, which is better than any of your contemporaries at Tier 9, or any of your Japanese contemporaries. Anyway, Asashio, of course, has got the 20 kilometer deep waters, but being deep waters, they do have some limitations. This doesn't. And the 15 kilometers at least means that you still can easily stay out of range of enemy radars. But if you're dropping consistently at sort of 14, 15 kilometers away from enemies, even if they're coming towards you, of course, it means you're that much less likely to hit. It does come with a bit of flavor, though. You've got an alternative set of torpedoes which have an extremely short 6.5 kilometer range. You can still stealth drop them, but yeah, it's an altogether riskier proposition, and that puts you within hydro and, of course, radar range of a lot of ships you might encounter at this tier. And the only real advantage of that is you get a sprinkle more damage and much faster speed on those, so they are that much harder to dodge if somebody doesn't know they're coming, doesn't have any kind of hydro or any other kind of warning. They will zip at you at, I mean, 85 knots, that's kind of on the level of some of the pan-European torpedoes. They are fairly quick, and you could probably make that even a little bit quicker with... actually, no, I think that's about as quick as they can go. I've got the various captain skills, and I've got the torp tubes modification one, so yeah. With the other torp tube mod too, and the captain skills, I've got the reload down to 76 seconds. There's also adrenaline rush in there as well, so that can reduce even more. For context, the Minegumo has it's upgraded. Well, it's got a choice of torpedoes as well, but its biggest, its ultimate upgrade is a little bit worse in terms of reload, but they do more damage and they have better speed. So it kind of overall, aside from the range, Minegumo has a little bit of an edge. Minegumo also has better AA, but it doesn't really count for that much at tier 9. It's just you might shoot down a few more planes, and it's also, I guess, a bit more useful for taking down like fighters that a carrier might used to spot you with, whereas Minegumo is going to struggle even to shoot down fighters. So it's not like this is any kind of straight upgrade on the Minegumo. It's more just a side grade. I don't know. It's just a classic torpedo-based Japanese destroyer, and that alone made me kind of interested in getting it. Yeah, when I noticed that flashing up there, this is not my first attempt at recording this. So yeah, as you can see, I had 1 win and 1 loss, and that one there was just a quick round of operations to get a feel for it. But yeah, there's really nothing radically different about this. It's the same Japanese 127s that you know. It's the same hard-hitting Japanese torpedoes that you know. It's the same stealthy hull with rather bad AA that you know. So there's nothing essentially new here, but if you like the fact that it is a high-tier premium that can earn premium credits with that Japanese playstyle, like Japanese torpedo boat playstyle, then this is absolutely worth getting. Although whether you feel it's worth getting for the price they're asking is entirely a question that's up to you. Okay, so we have some radars to work around in this one, as well as a submarine, and the Jaeger and the Shima are basically as stealthy. Shima's almost as stealthy. There's not many things you'll meet that are as stealthy, but they are out there. But we don't have air spotting to worry about, which is, like I said, a huge Achilles heel for this thing. It really just cannot do much about even fighters with that literal 10 AA DPS. It's like a couple of machine guns and that's it. You don't even have dual purpose main battery guns. So it is a considerable downside in some circumstances. But for this circumstance, not so much. So let's head for the cap to begin with. We can use that nice quick torp reload to send some torpedoes downrange, which possibly won't do that much considering they will be against bow on targets, but we'll see. Sometimes you get lucky with these things. I think I'm actually going to drop a smoke for this Prinz van Oranje just because I don't think I will need the smoke necessarily myself, and it makes the early game a little easier. So yeah, let's do that. If there were CVs, I would just be incredibly selfish and keep the smoke for myself. There's no question about it. Right, that is Moskva. Looks like they are turning away. Yes, they are. Don't think we're going to push into the cap just yet. Satsuma. I mean, the Moskva would be just out of radar range, I think. But okay, there's the sub. But I don't necessarily want to take that big of a risk to start with. Just waiting to see if... Let's put torps out in that direction. There's always the risk or the gamble when you're starting on this map that the enemy destroyer that started here might have gone up this flank. And I'm increasingly thinking that's the case. So you know what? Having said I'm not going to do that, let's do that. And I suspect if they're going to come round, they're going to come from that flank. Just the fact that we haven't seen hide nor hair of them so far. And the Moskva has not set up to try and give them any kind of support. It makes me think that that's where we might be getting something coming from. So I'm even going to, you know what, I'm even going to get my short-range torps up just because they've got a little bit more of a kick to them and they do not something. They get there quicker. Right, what have they lost already? They lost to Jacksonville. Okay, Z-46 would be probably the most annoying to meet in terms of them having hydro. No sign of them so far, but yeah, that just does make me think they have gone down that cap. Do I pop through there? I don't think I do. I don't think I really have a ship that would fare well in that kind of encounter. Coming around the corner and meeting a destroyer face to face. At that point you're just playing extreme torpedo beats. Yeah, having got the cap, okay, let's play it a little bit cautious. Come round on this side. See if we spot anything or get spotted by anything. Okay, Z-46 been spotted, Jaeger's been spotted, so that just leaves the Shimakaze unspotted. So that is the thing I could potentially meet. Right, hello, Jean Bart's making a push for the cap. I might actually be able to do something hilarious there, potentially. Still no sign of anything on this flank. Oh, no, the Shim... Oh, okay, the Shima's there. That is not what I expected. Right, is that... No, I'm not going to be able to get close enough. Okay. It's not a particularly long switch between the torpedoes. Costs you a couple of seconds. It's not really enough to hurt you, except in the most extreme dire circumstances. I'll even try and get a position. No, I think we'll just fire. Sort of gives the game away that I'm here, but they might think it's something else. I don't know. Lie going on the jumbo. I do hope that this commentary is going to be... Oh, I did not manage to sneak the kill. Up to snuff, because... Okay, Shima's just kind of capping. Do we back in here a bit, maybe? Let's try this. Let's try some awkward manoeuvring. Yeah, the thing I've been doing today is attempting to write a script for a Civ 7 review. I was gifted it by one of my Patreon supporters, and so as a long time Civ player, technically since the very first Civ, although it's not exactly the original release. It was a CD re-release of the original Civ in, I think, the late 90s it would have been. Okay, let's keep an eye on that Moskva in terms of how close they're getting. Yeah, it's a series that I've basically played every mainline game of, and a couple of non-mainline ones as well. In fact, I think the one I've played the least of, well, the Civ Revolutions, which was that was the console thing, which I played a tiny amount of, and then I played very little of Civ Beyond Earth, which I was distinctly unimpressed with. But yeah, I've played all the mainline series, and I have thoughts on Civ 7. It might be one of the weakest base game releases they've done in at least the last few entries. So yeah, definitely I have thoughts. And I'm trying to get those thoughts down in a coherent manner, which is not something I usually do. Okay, I mean the Moscow's radaring, but it's not going to last that long. Shima might try and get in a position to pew me or drop torpedoes, or I don't know. They're getting completely hammered in the meantime. I'm only a couple of seconds away from capping this. If I were the Shima, I might try and drop torpedoes through that gap. Do I fancy my chances in a gunfight versus the Shima? No idea. Oh, that's going to be the Ohio capping C. So anyway, yeah, I've been doing that like for a chunk of today, and I actually started a couple of days ago, and I've been pecking away at it, and I've only got a couple of pages so far, but honestly it's so far outside my usual thing of trying to like structure a video, think about how I'm going to put it together, and comparing the game to past games I've played. I don't know, it's a funny series because a lot of the time these iterative series, the sequels are meant to replace the games that came before, but I don't know if that's ever really been true with Civ, apart from maybe the jump from Civ 1 to Civ 2. All of them, certainly since Civ 2, in the form of, you know, you can go and play free Civ right now. You know, that still exists as a heavily Civ 2 inspired recreation of it. They're all perfectly playable on modern systems, and you know, in terms of their gameplay systems, they're all perfectly playable. Probably the biggest change with going back to sort of Civ 1, 2, 3 is the in fact, was that even Civ 3 that did it? Certainly Civ 1 and 2, you basically had to keep track of units incredibly closely, because units were supported from individual cities. And then it was either Civ 3 or Civ 4 made that into a global thing. You instead of supporting from an individual city, you're supporting your units from your global wealth, basically, from your global income. And it meant that you didn't have to keep track of things quite so intently anymore. You'd have individual cities that you would specialise in just supporting a bunch of units, but it also meant that the resources that would be spent on supporting those units were resources that you couldn't use to like improve those cities at all. So it ended up being a kind of weird juggling act. Right, this is really not going well for us, is it? This is just completely... Oh, crumbs, that's the Worcester. Run away! Run the heck away. That's not good. I might be dead. Okay. That's real bad news. There's not a lot I can do about that, except hope that I can dodge. There's the Shima. Okay. No, I'm just dead. I'm going to be dead to a Worcester. There's nothing I can do about that. That is quite unfortunate. We might well get some torpedoes into that Yamato, but it's going to be like 1 or 2 maybe. No, they've managed to miss all of those. Ugh! Of all the times to run smack bang face first into a radar. No. Oh wow. Nothing I could do there. Yikes, this was quite one-sided. Oh well. I don't think me blethering about Civ games really made a difference there, but anyway. It's not like the Worcester was spotted coming in this direction until I spotted them. And if you've spotted a Worcester and they've got a radar available and you don't have an immediate clear line of sight to turn tail and run away, then you're basically screwed in a destroyer. So, yeah, I don't think I could have done much more in that one, to be honest. Like, instead of going around there, like, I honestly thought the Shima was on that flank and sneaking up, because I've seen it so many times. I could maybe have come across here earlier, but that's all in hindsight, you know. I know that now. At the time I made the educated guess and it turned out to be wrong. Oh well. Yikes, okay, we're going to have CVs to deal with as well this time. I mean, there's no radar, so that's fine, but radar, at least in theory, if you know where the radars are, you can avoid them. CVs, not so much. The planes can and will come for you. There's also double subs on each side as well, so that's just an extra little bit of fun, because submarines are such a good design. They're such a good fit for this game. So good. It's hard to emphasize quite how good submarines are. Yes. Anyway. Honestly, it's nice to have at least something fairly inconsequential to bitch about. Like if I was mentioning current states of world affairs in, you know, various internationally important countries, I could probably just fill at least 20 minutes of a video just solid screaming. Just pained, anguished, I don't want to live in this timeline screaming. But, you know, let's focus on the bullshit that doesn't matter, like submarines and modern warships instead. Slightly less deleterious to my mental health. Just slightly. Yeah. Man, the urge to comment on any number of things in recent times has just been, I don't know, I've been trying to keep that out of videos because very occasionally I mention stuff in videos and there's usually at least a couple of comments of, oh my god, please don't remind me that real life exists. This is not why this is not why I watch YouTube videos about World of Warships or other games. So I guess that's fair enough. But occasionally, I mean, there were things like Brexit or various national elections here in the UK, which I in the past did videos on because, you know, I had thoughts and feelings and it was my channel, damn it. But yeah, despite being sadly right about the stuff I was bitching about, doesn't really make any difference ultimately, except to make people annoyed that I'm mentioning the stuff. Anyway, hello Midway. You're going to drop planes on me? Going to do a little... drop a little fighter? No? Coming back for another pass. Don't necessarily have the... oh, hello. Right. Made a very, very close drop. And now they're just going to guesstimate, which is annoying for me. So, you know, with these planes, I can make it harder for them to drop. I can't stop them dropping. It's really all I can do. And of course, this smoke becomes a magnet for torpedoes coming in from elsewhere. Right. Is that it? That's it. And he's dropped a fighter as well. So, yeah, screw trying to get this cap. Let's bugger off. We made this mistake in a previous game that I tried to record. And I made the mistake hanging around a cap when a carrier knew I was there, and the carrier just kept coming after me, and it was all just a waste of time. So let's go. Let's just bugger off. There's nothing we can do here. Except get away from these planes. Not even shot down a single fighter. Minegumo at least could have shot down some of the fighters. Anyway. Well, that's somebody pew-pewing from that direction. We're kind of relying on our own Nakimov to get some spotting done here, and I'm reduced to spamming torpedoes across the cap and hoping I hit something. Right, there go the fighters at least. 4501 hasn't spotted much, but they are currently... I wonder if it was their 4501. That's like the only coal ship I don't have, and I just essentially have no interest. Oh, hello. Right, you have popped out in a way I was not expecting. And I don't have smoke available, so... And the fact this island's here gives me a severely limited amount of manoeuvring space. So he gets to do a little drive-by, and maybe the Shimanto can hit him, I don't know. This thing is not built for gunfights. Right, it didn't really have any immediate backup though, that's fine. It was just him I took the damage from. No sign of torpedoes, so I'm not sure where those went. Anyway, that is not a destroyer I can tackle on my own unless I get lucky with torpedo hits. We're just going to have to back off here. I would think that Shimanto would be wise to do the same. See, this is what I mean. This is the downside of having these torpedoes, is I keep accidentally fat fingering the 4 key instead of the 3 key to switch back to torpedoes. Which for some people ain't going to be a problem, but for me apparently is going to be a problem. Right, that North Carolina is dead, that's fine. Got that cap, oh my goodness. Alright, oh, we don't exactly have good turret traverse here. Oh dear, okay, this is not great. You know, I have at least smoke, but this thing I'm pretty sure can outrun me. Right, some fire coming in from the Shimanto. Ooh. All these gosh dang islands in the way. Let's get the... Alright, let's get the smoke out. There's a big chunk of health I've lost there. Shimanto's not exactly a fast-firing cruiser either. Oh my goodness, how did Minegumo lose so much health? Right, we got in with a torpedo, which is fantastic. I've lost most of my health in the process though, which is ugly. And now there are planes coming along to try and take advantage of that, presumably. Balls, can I get back into my smoke? Or are you going for the Shimanto? You might be going for the Shimanto. Okay, let's keep going forwards then. Yeah, that was... I don't know. I guess they just saw a lone destroyer and thought, I'm in a French destroyer, I can outgun that, but it was the wrong kind of French destroyer. You want to be in the other kind of French destroyer that's got the reload booster. So that did not go very well for them. And it's just kind of lucky that they ran into one of my torpedoes. Okay. Right, so we lost our U-45L1, we've also lost a cruiser, but we're otherwise not doing too badly so far. How did that Minegumo lose so much health? Honestly did not see any of that happening. Oh, and unsurprisingly the Shimanto not doing so well. It's squishy. It's very squishy. Okay, let's try and get at least close enough to drop some longer range torpedoes. Well, the smoke is going to be available in just over a minute, so that's not too far away if we need it. In terms of the team, we're doing okay. That destroyer really did YOLO in a kind of a silly fashion, which might have got me sunk, but like even if they'd been able to sink me, they still would have sunk themselves. They still would have been trading themselves for another destroyer, which generally speaking not something you want to do. You don't want to just zoom forward and be like, I'm going to trade myself for just one other ship. Well, this is proving to be a slightly weird game so far, to be honest. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what to make of this. Somebody's got me spotted. I'm guessing one of those, well not spotted but radio located. I'm guessing it's one of those cruisers up there. I guess I'm just going to try and drop torps over there? I don't know. With a better chance of picking up spotting damage than actual damage at this stage, I think. Which way is this Castilla going? Don't know. They're rapidly running out of ships. We've only lost 2. This was as one-sided as the last game, only in a different direction. Right, let's put torps out there. Ibuki's heading away, so we might as well put all our torps out against that Iparanga, but I don't think they're going to get there in time. They're not exactly the most healthy ship. I don't know. We're about to win on points anyway, so yeah. Way more spotting damage than actual damage. Kind of a weird game. Yeah, I was forced into being way more cautious than I would have liked there. But still, that was enough to get me halfway up the team list. I just lost so much health against that yellowing French destroyer. Oh well. So this is a bit more like it. No radars, no carrier. We've also got a couple of ships I don't recognise that might well be testing ships. Well, that one's definitely testing ships. The River Gambra and something called Suzuya, which is that one of those super alternate testing ships or whatever they're called? That one certainly is. It's probably in the dev blog somewhere and I just haven't read it in like a week or 2. So anyway, so yeah, we do also have some sneaky-ish destroyers, or one sneaky-ish destroyer to worry about. Shiratsuyu is still fairly sneaky. Kitakaze I can run away from at least with... yeah, this thing's not super fast, but if I get the engine boost going I can run away. I did remember to put signals on this thing, right? Yes, I did. They're so small these days that you have to really zoom in close to see them. It used to be possible back in today, to actually get a proper look at ally and enemy signals without having to zoom in super far. You could just, if you were reasonably close, use the artillery scope and see what kind of signals they were running. And you still technically can, but you've got to be a lot closer because they're just so much smaller these days. Anyway, I can be a little more confident going into this cap. And maybe even just hose some random torpedoes downrange. Although, if anyone's coming into the cap, they probably will be doing so in the shadow of this island, so... it's maybe not that likely I'll hit somebody randomly, but you never know. I think there's a quick enough reload on these torpedoes that you can get away with just doing some random downrange torpedoes, especially with a 15-kilometer range. Right, I maybe want to do some torps across to there. Wichita Hydro, or is that Hydro or is that radar? Oh, it's radar. I'm not sure Shiratsuyu is fine. Okay, no sign of any other destroyers yet. This might be quite useful with the radio location captain. But as you can see, I've put my existing 21-point Yamamoto captain on, who's more focused on torpedoes than anything else. Oh, hello, Kagero. Is it worth going for the... I think it probably is. Super fast firing. Let's just hope we hit them and keep our stealth. I may well not be expecting my torpedoes to be that fast. Nice, there we go. And that got us an extra consumable charge. So it is worth making that swap to the faster torpedoes, especially when you're in close against other destroyers. 83 knots is much more than people would expect from Japanese torps generally. Okay, so we burned a bit of health, but actually that just helps my torpedo reload. So that's fine. I am perfectly happy having taken out my stealth counterpart. Right. Cheshire does have torps. Watch out for those. Are there either 8 or 10? I can't remember. It is 8 kilometers. There we go. Which way are you going, Cheshire? They've also got hydro, or the capability of hydro, I'm pretty sure. Yes. It's so much more useful these days that you can just, like, go to the screen and look up the base stats of things. Instead of having to remember everything, which was the case for a long time. Jump on. Oh, you're quite lucky those ran out. That got a bit dicey. Right, clipped in with a torp. Which way are you coming? Are you coming this side of the... Oh, let's go for the higher speed torpedoes. Big guns on the Cheshire, but it's also very squishy. Very, very squishy. Right, you have turns, so you're going to miss those. It's fine. Actually got another reload back just then. We might have to change back to long-range torpedoes. If somebody else doesn't nail this Cheshire, of course. Right, which way are you turning? Surely you're turning back south. Surely. No, you're actually sort of coming this way. Especially want to get hit by those guns. Might be able to get some sneaky shots in. In fact, let's try some AP. 127mm AP. Ooh, it's not the best, but you never know. It might be hilarious. Yeah, that was worth it, I think. Cheshire's Citadel is not small. Not small at all. Right, so what have we got down there? North Carolina, Yarsfeld, Suzuya, and the Monarch way off in that direction. We've got a bit more room to play around with now that the Kagera is out of the picture. Shiratsu is also out of the picture, which is quite nice, and the Kitakaze is way over on the other flank, so that is absolutely a-okay. Okay, next customer, the Yarsfeld. Just going to go behind the rock, which is entirely sensible. Similarly, the North Carolina will be coming up on that side as well. Ooh, that Wichita's low health. Right, what are you doing, Yarsfeld? You're just going to park behind there and cap. That's kind of the sensible thing to do. That's what I would expect. I was a bit close to that Wichita. I might consider giving them a smoke. Which way are you going, North Carolina? We're actually turning out, okay. I don't think that Wichita's going to take much much killing, to be honest. I would suspect that they're not going to last long at all. I don't know why they didn't go north. Okay, I'm going to get, I think, one on the snoot for the North Carolina. Might cause a flooding. And it did. And you've damage controlled that. That's fine. Are you gonna wiggle behind that? Oh no, you haven't damage controlled that. Okay. That's fine. They're just going to eat the damage. No, they have damage controlled. Okay, I am mildly confused. Alright. Well, what are you doing? Can I get close enough? Oh, Wichita. I mean, this might be hilarious for me. The Wichita just gets behind the rock, but of course the Yarsfeld can just spot the Wichita and do an airdrop on them. Like if the Wichita gets close enough to get auto-spotted. But if somebody takes the bait, comes around the corner of the island... Right, do I just go around the outside a bit? I guess so. I sort of feel like I'm on the wrong side of the map slightly, but this is... two very juicy targets right here. I just have to trust my teammates aren't going to do anything too silly. But, I don't know, that might be quite a lot of trust to be putting in random teammates. Come on, back out, back out, back out. Oh, yes, 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 do it. Do it, back out, Yarsfeld. Yes, do it. Do it. This might be hilarious. This might be very hilarious. I am 100% using this Wichita as bait. Has he detected them with Hydro and is now going, eek? Possibly, but I'm still going to get him with two. Nice. That is one very unhappy Yarsfeld now. Are you going to go? Oh, Wichita, I don't think you're going to last. Oh, we got him though. Right, do we just YOLO the North Carolina? Maybe this could be hilarious. Okay, we don't have to, like, this is now just one-on-one, North Carolina, and hope that my torpedoes are enough. Oh my word, this is incredibly risky. I think we've got the health to tank this. It depends if they're not, like, if they're going forwards or not. Oh, which side do I want to pop out on? Or if they're just going to sit there and use the... Okay, we're going to... Oh, Lord, no, okay. Just got spotted by the planes. I mean, they had to know I'm coming anyway, but now they know which side I'm coming from. This is so risky. Might be hilarious. But also risky right now. He's going out that way. Right. Hello? I was hoping for a broadside, but that did the trick. Okay, I was right, it was hilarious. That could potentially have gone so very wrong. Instead it was comedy gold. There's that quick reload coming in. Very, very useful. Indeed. We were at a stage where I think they might kill one or two more ships, but we've basically got this. Unless our team all starts playing in a really, really terrible fashion. I mean, that Los Andes is definitely going to get sunk. And the Kitakaze is still knocking around somewhere. But they don't have a lot of ships left at all. So yeah, there goes the Los Andes. Scharnhorst went down. Furious de Grossa is desperately trying to heal, but probably not going to make it, which just leaves the River Gambia. I wonder if we can... Oh. get a good look. I'm trying to remember what the key combo is for flying over. Did I say River Gambra. That's going to be confusing. That's just going to be very confusing. I can tell. Well, there's the Kitikaze. They decided to make a wild last stand, go down guns blazing, perhaps. Certainly not running away to the corner of the map, which would be understandable. But I guess it's to their credit they wanted to go down swinging. It's not like it would have prolonged things that much longer anyway. We do have almost enough points to clinch the win. Well, they have smoked up, but I guess they're just trying to get a last little bit of damage without necessarily fully running away. So there's somebody getting the hydro. And there's the kill. So yeah, I think that's my best result in this so far, easily. 2000 base XP. Apparently that Prince Eugen also did very well. Let's give them a compliment. And I also gave a compliment to that Wichita just for setting up the Yarsfeld for me. They played such a high-risk strategy when their ship was almost dead, and they could have played it safe. But they were able to set me up for a nice chunk of damage. And then went on to kill the Yarsfeld, so... Sure, you know, you get a compliment for the balls on you at least. That sounds weird when I say it out loud. Anyway, Minegumo. So yeah, this is a really solid premium if you like that torpedo boat playstyle. It's nice. It's a nice ship. I can give this one a thumbs up, and like I said, it's just up to you to decide whether you think paying the price of a tier 9 premium is worth it. It's certainly far less specialised than the Asashio herself, but in terms of tier 9 torpedo premiums, most of them have got some kind of handicap to them, shall we say, and this does in terms of its AA defence, but in all other regards it's a pretty strong ship. I mean, you compare it to, say, the Jaeger with its very weak torpedoes and no smoke. Like Benham's got, of course, a very strong armament for its tier and its torpedoes, and it gets smoke, but the range is much more limited and the torpedoes do a lot less damage. The various different Fletcher class ships we have, they've all got their own things going on. So they've either got like a really long reload from the Johnson, or like the Velos has got a short reload, but it's only got one set of tubes, and it doesn't again have the range. So yeah, this is probably the most solid non-gimmicky premium high tier destroyer that we've got. I think the Benham is probably stronger overall in terms of its torpedoes, but for the more risk-averse player, I think the Minegumo is probably the better choice, just because it gets that range to play with, which Benham does not. So that is it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and if you did, you can do all the usual things down underneath it, and of course, as always, stay tuned for more.